Hello everyone, it's Shannon here for Heffy Doodle. In this video, I'm going to create this sweet Slimline unicorn card using the adorable Fluffy Puffy unicorns. I'm going to start by stamping some of the images from the Fluffy Puffy unicorn stamp set. I've already pulled off several of the unicorns as well as a rainbow, and I'm going to stamp them onto a piece of Bristol smooth paper. I'm going to do some really simple watercoloring with Tombow dual brush pens. I am also going to heat emboss, so I did apply some anti-static powder, and then inked up my stamps in VersaMark ink. Now I'm just going to stamp them here with my MISTI, then I'll remove them and dip them into some gold embossing powder. The gold embossing will work as a resist, but it'll also just look really pretty, I think, with the unicorns. I just think unicorns and rainbows look really well with gold. So now that I've heat set that gold embossing powder, I'm ready to color. I have Tombow dual brush pens here. I'm going to start with the marker direct to paper. I'm just coloring in the main here. I did already test out or did already color the rainbow just to kind of figure out if I liked this color combo together. And then I'm going to finish here with this last bit of the main and color it with this really pretty blue. Now that I have kind of the bit of the top of the main colored, I'm going to blend it out with a very slightly damp brush, so not a lot of water here. I actually sprayed the water down into my work surface and I'm just picking up a small amount with my brush and then coloring over that ink to kind of activate it and blend it out. So it's a pretty simple process and I think it creates a really beautiful gradation. I'm now going to use the pink, orange, and yellow for the tail and then use that blue to add a little shadow on the unicorn. I'm just going to basically leave the unicorn white. Then I'll scribble a little bit more of that pink down to my work surface, pick it up with my brush to kind of dilute it, and color in a cheek. So pretty simple. I'm going to repeat that process for the other unicorns. I did stamp a second rainbow and colored that, and then I die cut them out with the matching dies. I'm now going to move on to my background panels. I have a peach slimline panel that I die cut with this beautiful scallop die from the Slimline Pull Tabs die set. Then I trimmed down a piece of white cardstock to create a smaller panel to fit inside. Next, I'm going to ink blend over that panel to create a cloudy sky. I have a piece of contact paper here. I'm going to die cut this with one of the Silver Linings cloud border dies, and then that will create a little mask. Now, contact paper, if you're not familiar, it's kind of an adhesive paper that people use to protect their shelves, but it's a little bit sticky and tacky, so I just removed the backing and then stuck that contact paper mask that I created down on to my white panel, and now I'll ink blend right at the top edge of that mask with Peacock Feathers Distress ink, and this will just create a beautiful soft little cloudy sky, and that Peacock Feathers matches really well with the blue that I used on the unicorn, so everything will go together really well. So I'm just repositioning it over and over again until I get this cloudy sky kind of the way I want it to look. And now that I finished that, I'm going to actually heat set this, or dry this really, because I'm going to do some heat embossing next. But before I do that, I'm first just going to add some liquid glue to the back side of my panel and adhere it onto that peach panel. I've now arranged all my images just to figure out where I want that sentiment to go. I picked it up with my MISTI, applied some anti-static powder, inked it up with VersaMark ink, and stamped it. Now I'll just pour on some more gold embossing powder and then of course heat set it with my heat tool. I now have all my components ready to finish this card up. I'm going to start with this Hello die cut. This was cut with the Hello Shadow Heffy Cuts die. I die cut it twice out of white cardstock, and now I'm just going to adhere the two together to create a stacked sentiment, or a dimensional sentiment. Now I'm going to move on to this Slimline panel of Razzleberry cardstock. A Slimline panel is 3 5/8 by 8 5/8. I'm just going to adhere that onto my Slimline card base. A Slimline card base is 7 1/4 by 8 5/8, and then you just score it at 3 5/8. Then I just adhered my stacked panel, and now all I have left to do is adhere all of my die cuts. I'm going to start with my images. I'm just going to add some foam squares to the back of those, remove the backing, and stick those down. After I get most of those stuck down, I'm going to move on to my Hello, just add some liquid glue to the back side of that, stick that down, and then I just have these two last little images, just remove the backing and stick those down, and my card is complete. I now I'll hold my card up to the camera so you can get a good look at all the details in this card. I just love these little unicorns. They're so cute with their little chubby bodies. And I tried a little different color palette for my rainbow this time. I went a little bit more on the jewel tone side, and I really like how it turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed today's card and video. If you'd like any more information on the products I use, please head over to Heffy Doodle. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.